Welcome back everyone to Mudstomp Solves, a channel where I solve cardboard puzzles, 3D puzzles, block builds, pen and paper puzzles, basically anything that involves putting two and two together with or without instructions. Today, as we can see, I'm solving another cardboard puzzle. This is a 3,000 piece Ravensburger puzzle. I'm just giving you a quick view onto the sorting process as I got started. It's quite a job and a half, to be honest. This puzzle is called A Garden of Sun Signs. So yeah, we're going to get into that and show you what I've gotten to. I finished sorting after about 8 to 10 hours. And so we are now up to having a look at this beautiful puzzle. So as you can see, again, it's the sun signs. I don't know anything about the sun signs, to be honest. I look at this and it sort of reminds me of sort of like Hindu, Buddhism, these kinds of things. But I love the artwork. I love the detail. And yeah, it's been a real fun sort of journey to sort it. But like I said, about 8 to 10 hours. It's one of my first Ravensburger puzzles that's this big, and so having the bag, brand new puzzle, having lots of dust, so I've written in there sun as part of the puzzle. And yeah, I've basically gotten into sorting it out a lot of different piles. So let's go through them one at a time. Please ignore the any lighting issues. It's late at night and it's the best I've got. So anyway, starting here, we've got our edge pieces. That being said, I only found 3 corner pieces, so that's a bit strange. There's probably another corner piece in here somewhere where I've just missed it, to be honest. It'll come out of the work. Oh, here it is. There you go. Found it. Anyway, so as I said, that's the corner pieces. So what we've got is these 2 lines here are blue lines in the puzzle. Kind of hard to see the outer one, but so yeah, I've basically sorted so that I've got the 2 end edges. So that's on this side. And then I've got all the top and bottom edge pieces separated as well. So yeah, I've also separated these 4 top and bottom ones because they are in fact the bits at the top and bottom of these lines. I've also sorted out the flower bits off to the side. So we've basically got the inner blue line separating the rest of the puzzle from the flowers, and then these are all the flower bits. I managed to sort them based on the idea of 2 things. One is either there was a black backing, because most of the puzzle doesn't have black except for this sort of rivery bit, which is very clear cut. And otherwise, these flower pieces are actually quite large compared to almost everything else in the puzzle. So it was very obvious. I'll grab one piece just to demonstrate that these larger petals and things. So for the most part, that should be accurate sorting and should be pretty fun and easy to get into. So I will be looking to build the edge and then this blue line on each side and then fill in the gap between the blue lines and the edges. So that'll give me a nice, I think it's about 4 pieces across. So you know, five or so centimeters across, which is, you know, it's a significant portion of the puzzle, to be honest. For a 3,000 piece, it's going to be quite a lot done just very quickly and easily. Continuing on, what else have we got? So going to go back and forth a bit here, try not to flick around too much. This is basically blue and slightly grayer tree pieces and orange background with the greyish tree pieces. So for the most part, the blue will be this stump down here and this big tree over here. The grayer pieces are going to be this tree over here, and the grey or the yellow orange background with the bits should be that part for the most part. There are a few little other bits, so there's a bit of blue tree here and up here, so there'll be some of that in there probably too, but for the most part, they were pretty easy to pick out, so I separated them. You'll notice I'm not just separating into single boxes, but actually multiple piles in most boxes, just to try and get as much separated out as I can. Another texture that jumped out to me very early on was this yellow with a bit of orange in that. For the most part, I think that's all this dress, which is really cool. And also I think it's a part of this tree up here, so there'll be a little bit there to sort of sort out and so on. We then also have all the reds, so I basically put them to the side because there's not a whole lot of red in the puzzle, but where it is, it's sort of significant. So you've got like hats and bits of clothing and stuff like that, and this character here. So yeah, the red should be relatively easy to place for the most part. I then also separated orange backgrounds out, basically, because I figured once I get, as you'll see from the other piles, most of the chunks done, this orange background back here is probably going to be a significant portion to put together. We then have these purpley rock and flowerish pieces. So these, for the most part, there's a lot of these in the puzzle. I'm not sure how it's going to go, but I've got a bit here, a little bit there. We've got behind the tree here. Excuse me, this whole rock piece over there, and this is the flowery bit here on this tree. So yeah, when you look at the whole puzzle, that's a significant portion of the puzzle, to be honest. So I'm looking forward to getting that done. It doesn't look too big of a pile, plus it connects with the blue lines and stuff, so it should be nice and fun. We then had a green pile I started. Now this is the biggest pile by far. I'd say it's probably close to at least 300 to 500 pieces in there, thereabouts anyway. Unfortunately, as you can see, there's a lot of greenery in the background. So it's yellow-green really pile. So anything that had sort of a lot of yellow, a lot of green in it, all around the whole puzzle is basically ended up in that pile, which, it's a big pile, but I think once I get the rest done, that should be pretty easy to sort of match where they go and place them. So I'm not too worried about that. Kind of like the poisons and potions puzzle with the having all the brown lines and that the backgrounds kind of fit easy enough. So yeah. What else have we got? So, excuse me. This piece here, I'm going to try and bring them over so I'm not moving around as much. So we've got blue pieces, which are these cloud bits at the top. Sorry for the zoom there. We have this brown, which is a lighter brown, and I'm assuming for the most part is this line. We then have the darker brown, which is probably this horse, a bit of this tree, that kind of stuff. We then have whites, or close to whites, which I'm hoping is mostly just these. I think there was one other thing that's white. Oh, there's a sort of goat horse thing there, so maybe that as well. This pile is basically faces and bits to do with humanoid type characters, so hands and things like that. So that's a really nice pile to get separated out. We then have in this pile, this was one of my last sets of piles. I'm going to actually add these two pieces to the miscellaneous pile, just because they weren't anything in particular. So that's my miscellaneous pile, which all in all isn't too bad off, to be honest. It's big-ish, but not too huge, so I think that'll be all right. This is a little texture for a body and a tree. So they had two specific spots. That's the tree there, and the body was this one here. So pretty straightforward. The black is kind of two piles there in a way. So the left side of that pile is all of the river and the lake kind of bits. And then the right side, I think, is mostly this bull. So that should hopefully get most of that done. The top of that, so we've got this sort of texture here, and then all these pieces are this scorpion type character over there. The texture on the top left is this, where is it? That tree up here, that tree there. So that'll be nice to get that done and out of the way. We then have rock formations. So these are sort of the light rock formations, and then a darker brown one. The light ones for the most part are going to be like here and up there, I think, and underneath there. The darker one, I'm not entirely sure, but it'll be around there somewhere. Figure it out eventually. So yeah, a lot of rock formations, if you will. And then I think that's all the piles I've gone through. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. It's hard to keep track. There's so many piles. It's crazy. So yeah, it's pretty sorted nice and neatly. And like I said, I'm probably going to do the edges to begin with. So do the edges, do this blue lines, do the flowers in between for the most part, get those two strips done on either side. Work on the blue, because the trees I think will be pretty straightforward to do. Probably do some of the characters like the scorpion and that, and then start working on sort of, do these dresses or these clothes. And yeah, just try and do all those sort of character type ones, and then start working on things like, for instance, this flower section and stuff like that. So I'm hoping all in all, Well, after the time skip, because I'll, excuse me, after I do a bit of a time lapse on it, yeah, I'll hopefully have quite a lot done. So we'll see what happens. But anyway, all right, let's get into it. Well, following that, I did about probably a couple hundred, 300 maybe more pieces. Yeah, I was waiting to record this and got busier in the day when I couldn't record this and got into it. Basically, I added a whole lot of connective pieces that I found, bits like this where I just sort of added chunks into the characters and stuff. Basically got more of this horse done, a little bit more of the trees and stuff around and about, just connecting bits. Got this bit crab type thing done, the clouds, the orange background at the back, the trees at the top, bit more of this tree up here for the most part. So yeah, that was like, I don't know, 200 odd pieces or so, and we're now where we are. So yeah, it's been quite fun actually. It is difficult. It's a hard puzzle, I feel like. I will say, like, these edges were definitely relatively easy because of the sizing and all. Individually, things like these characters, they're not too bad. They're, it's a small number of pieces with a particular pattern, so it's pretty easy. Things like these trees are just, this was not too bad. It was all right for the most part, but like this was quite hard to find bits and get them in place. Like the main branches, yes, but then the leaves and stuff, there's so many near identical leaves, trying to figure them all out was a bit rough. Again, characters like this, characters, pretty straightforward as you would expect, but yeah, so it's sort of, I don't know, it's getting there. I'm enjoying it a lot, and I'd say that for being my biggest puzzle to date, it's quite scary to think how much you've done, and then you put it down and you see these big empty swathes and you're like, oh my gosh, what's left? And yeah, speaking of that, there's not too much left. I've started a second miscellaneous pile. These are the ones that I've looked at and I couldn't figure out where to put them. So I'm putting them face down so I can turn them out onto a board later on. This is my actual miscellaneous pile. I've gone through that about 3 times looking for odds and ends that I might have missed, which has turned out pretty good. I've actually gotten quite a lot of pieces that I could put in around the characters and that. The main 3 bits I've got left to do, these pinkish rocks, I didn't do any of that so far. I was going to, but I looked at it and I just thought I'm going to leave that till later when there's more there to connect it to. The green pile is still completely there. That being said, I'm pretty eager to get into that because there are a lot of bits, like for instance this bit here. I have a vague idea where that's going to go. So there's a lot of these. Once I get them out on a board, I think they're going to be pretty easy to just go bang, bang, bang and get a whole lot in very, very quickly. I mean, just as an example, so this character here, there's a bit of green in there. So chances are that piece is in this pile. And as soon as I see it, like I see the belt or something like that, that'll be easy done. Yeah. There's just a lot of pieces that have got like fairly significant indicators on them. It's just a matter of seeing them. The other little pile I've got is this one. So again, sort of the yellowy browner rocks and so forth. And then I've got a little bit left over from the trees and stuff. So yeah, all in all, I'd say probably, I don't know, maybe 1,500 pieces or something left. I'm not entirely sure, to be honest. But quite a bit, but it should be relatively easy to do, I think. The grey yellow rocks, there's a few spots around where they are, but I've got things to hang those on, to be honest, so that would be pretty easy, I reckon. A lot of these sort of greeneries that have got the particular textures that are still missing, they'll be pretty relatively easy once I get into it. Like, again, you can see there's sort of detail in there that sort of shows where things go, so yeah, honestly speaking, it's a lovely puzzle. A lot of lovely textures and variations and all of that sort of stuff. I'm finding for the most part it connects really well. I mean, it's a Ravensburger, typical Ravensburger, you know, good soft click, all of that. If you haven't noticed, this is my big green felt board. So this is technically the biggest board I have. So normally the big poster boards that I do like the 2,000 piece puzzle on, they're about, I want to say they're like 80 by 60 or something like that. This board is 80 by about 130, 140, I think. Because this puzzle, I believe, is 120 by 80, I think, if I double check the measurement. Hang on one second. Yeah, 120 by 80. And I thought that it was going to go all the way to the edge of the board, but there's about 20 centimeters spare. So, but it is edge to edge, like right on the edge of the board. I'm glad I've got this board. I built this ages ago. If you haven't seen it, one of my earlier videos was a what was it? 3 paintings together, and it was like a 2,000 piece puzzle. I think it was. I did it on this, so I built this at the time, thinking ahead for 3,000 piece puzzles. But yeah, the felt, I had to vacuum it because it's a bit dirty. I haven't used it in a while, but the felt's pretty good to work on, except for when you need to move a lot of it and you don't have room to sort of glide it. When it's connected well, you can sort of get it moving and then the whole thing moves nicely. But in this state, that doesn't happen at all. And so you sort of got to wedge things around a little bit to move them. But once they're in the right spot, it's no big deal. Everything fits nicely. So yeah, it's getting there. I got to say too, like I love the design on this. Like the colors are vibrant, which is lovely. The textures and patterns are great, but like the sort of I don't even know what to call it. Like the drawn nature of the picture, I guess the comic style. I don't know, but yeah, like I really love this sort of style of things, like these clouds and stuff like that. Very I would be tempted to say Asian origin, but I think that's bit rude to put it that way, to be honest. Like that's definitely not, you know, it's obviously sun signs. I'm assuming these are sort of you know, somewhere in the vicinity of maybe Chinese zodiac or Hindu gods or something like that. I honestly don't know, but they are beautiful creatures, characters, whatever you want to call them. And they're just, the designs and the patterns and stuff are just wonderful. So yeah, I even said this is a horse. It's not really a horse. It's a human head instead of a horse head. So I honestly don't know what these are. I do just love the images though. And again, the colors are just so vibrant, the blues and reds and very strong and just really lovely to sort of go with. So yeah, anyway, I'm going to get back into it. Probably going to just do a couple of short time lapses and stuff to just show some bits and pieces, and otherwise I'm going to sort of catch you on the other end when I finally finish the whole shebang. So yeah, all right, hope you're enjoying it. Let's see how we end up. And finally, we're down to the last pieces. I can't believe that I'm finally at that point that I can say this is done. For a biggest puzzle solve that I've ever done, and to be perfectly frank, the most greenery I think I've ever done in one puzzle. It's a beautiful puzzle, but oh my gosh, has it taken forever. And we're finished. Well, there you have it, folks. That's my biggest 3,000 piece puzzle ever done. So I am stoked about that. It's going to be a quick wrap up because I've already talked about the puzzle heaps. But this is the Sun Signs by, who was it again? Sveta Dorosheva. I'm probably mispronouncing that, my apologies, but it's a beautiful puzzle. I'd love to try and pick it up, but it's kind of stuck to the felt board, so it's going to be a hard one to do that with. But what I will tell you is that I have a couple videos planned. So next week, I'm going to do another block series, so that'll be coming out soon. My next puzzle, I'm going to be doing a 1,000 piece hay, because I haven't done one of these before, a hay puzzle, and I'm wanting to do something a bit smaller that'll be a bit quicker. Following that, I've got another wood build coming up. I believe this is a mechanical owl or turtle or something like that, so we're going to get into that one. And yeah, we're going to continue, and the 15k puzzle will be coming soon as well, and another 3k puzzle eventually soon enough. So in the next couple of months we have a lot coming up. But again, all in all, this puzzle was beautiful, great texture, great puzzle fit. It was difficult in the right ways, but really enjoyable and really possible the whole way along. So really loved that one. So anyway, if you're still watching, thank you very much for watching. Thank you for the support. You know what to do: likes, subscribes, comments, all the rest of it. Let me know what your biggest puzzle you've ever done. I'd be curious to hear. But otherwise, that's going to be it for today, and I look forward to catching you in the next video and the next big puzzle sometime soon. All right, I'd stomp you out. Bye.